Much, Jan, and thank you everyone here for coming back and staying alive and awake. Yeah, my name is Anette. I'm an associate professor. I'm a physician by training, but also have a PhD in transplantation immunology and a master's in public health and health policy. So my interest is very much in internationalization of medical education and how this translates into science diplomacy. So my 5 minutes will be divided into the description of the program that I run and followed by an analysis of the program, so you will understand the different components of the program and why it's so important. How do I advance this here? Okay, here we go. So the International Collaboration and Exchange Program, in short ICEP, was founded 11 years ago by me at Columbia University, and now is a consortium of 40 leading medical schools around the world, and we have about 700 students per year. It is based on the principles of internationalization of medical education. And for those who are not familiar, which most people are not, because this is a new field that myself and a couple of my colleagues have spearheaded, it was not defined about 11 years ago. It's the strategic coordinated framework that integrates policies, programs, initiatives, and individuals to make colleges and universities more globally oriented and internationally connected. And there are a lot of theories of internationalization of medical education, but one of the principles, aside from market model, which we heard a lot about today, about competition, right? Or in medicine particular, is the social transformation model, where we talk about humanitarian work and helping other people. There is one model that is hardly ever applied in medical education, and that is called the liberal model, which I found very, very enticing, because global collaboration in medicine is not really a driving force for international work in medical education. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I've written in April, right in the middle of the pandemic, that the future of our global healthcare world lies in the international collaborative competencies of the next generation of healthcare leaders. And that sums it all up, what I'm trying to do. I really want to educate our next generation of physicians to feel like global citizen physicians. The world is one. There is no national borders. There is no political divide. We really want them to have just one goal, and that's the health of all people worldwide. The way how we work it, and I have very little time to walk you through the elements of the program, we work with very young health profession students, as young as high school students. This year is the first time. We have medical students, dental students, public health students, a pre-medical college student, and high school students who are interested to go into the sciences, and I explain a little bit why we're targeting really young students. Our learning objectives are, aside from global health and public health and all the collaterals that you need to know as a global leader, are elements that are translating into skills and competencies that you need as science diplomats. That is cultural competency, learning, respect, and tolerance for other cultures, other countries, other histories, and global teamwork, communication, and learning about other policies, and also diplomatic skills to try to ease tension, and also history of other countries. These are topics that are rarely ever touched in medical education, but they're incredibly important if you really want to have a global citizen physician understanding the other world, and really is a baseline for global collaboration. The format, and here comes technology into play, is a virtual immersion format through modern technology. Way before COVID, we were on Zoom, and before we were on Skype. We were called the Skype project, and we're going to GoToMeeting. But the most important part is that there is a virtual immersion format here, that the students feel they grow up and they mature and go through different stages of their professional life with their global peers, and that is really important. We use typically their cell phones. They go to their libraries and show them what they're studying right now, or their lecture halls, but they also show their food, the books they read, the clubs they visit. And so the other students really take part of their lives. And so these students study for 2 semesters online with each other, and then we have very short immersion travels for a week, or they can go for 2 months to another country to investigate research and science in another country, but also to mingle and network. And some students, particularly the Germans, the Austrian, and UK students, they use this time for a full year to do their dissertations at the US or in other parts of the world. We're currently on the right side of the slide. You can see, very right side, you can see the partners. We have about 40 partners all over the world, 700 students. And on the bottom, you see the general timeline of our fall program. And what is really important is after this 1 year of virtual immersion in short-term travels, we ensure there is a sustainability there by offering them continuation of the program. And we do postdoctoral exchanges now, but we also offer them shared interest groups. For instance, students who want to become cardiologists, they have a shared interest group, invite talks. We have regional chapters in each of the schools where they continuous older students and younger students come together. They're all ISEP alumni. They mentor each other and really form this spirit of global collaboration, because they feel very comfortable having a student who come, say in Vienna, a student from Tokyo comes to visit them. They host them, show them around, and really form this global community. I'm always touched. This program is 11 or this is our 12th year old, when I get pictures from the first generation of students who are now professors and say, oh, my friend Anna from Germany came to visit me, and here we are standing on the Empire State Building. So this is how long these friendships can last. So this is just the format of the program. I want to emphasize why this program is very special. And the very first thing is, for science diplomacy, I'm targeting the health profession students, the medical students. In science diplomacy, we talk about science, right? There are a lot of scientists in the world, but I think there are more doctors. So every person in the world probably knows a doctor, hopefully, and has heard of a doctor, right? Many people might not know what a maritime researcher does, or a space scientist does, but everyone pretty much knows what a doctor is. And these physicians in most societies have a very influential position in society. They become a voice for the patients. They see many, many patients. So the mission of science diplomacy can be really carried forward through physicians. They have, they also, the mission in medicine is a little bit different than many of the sciences, in that we have a duty to public service of altruism and humanitarian work, right? Our goal is to make everyone healthy. So I think it is extremely important to involve people who are already have the mindset of humanitarian work and public service to the health of the people in that country or for the world. And if you instill them the notion of a global community, they really can make a huge difference. The second thing is that we involve students in this program. So we talked about the science diplomats. I think Ona mentioned that she also worked with young students. And I think it's really crucial that in many countries of the world, students start medical school at 17 or 18. And you can imagine the impact it has when you're at 17 or 18. You meet students from other parts of the world and you become their friends and they follow you through your career, that you will always feel they're part of a global community. So when something like COVID hits again, you can call up your friends in Sydney and London and Nairobi and Johannesburg and New York and ask them, hey, how are you doing this? But even if you don't collaborate, I think it's very important that when you have a patient in Wisconsin and doesn't want to be vaccinated, you have to explain to them, if you don't get vaccinated with spreading this virus, someone in Africa might get hurt. And I think this global citizenship is really important for science diplomacy, because we can really have a measurable outcome in that certain diseases will not spread, or certain diseases can be reduced or eliminated altogether. Another important portion of this program is that it intentionally works with science diplomacy. So it's not a byproduct of global collaboration, but it's really targeted. We really want, this is our goal, and that's why we do this program. And a lot of medical education exchange programs don't really have that. They want to enhance the CV of the students, or maybe improve the scientific community talents. But I think to have this mindset that we really want global collaboration as our goal, we want improvement of the health of all people worldwide, makes a big difference because of the programming and the processes we use for internationalization of medical education. There's one aspect that I forgot to mention, is that this program was originally started through anatomy professors. I I forgot to mention that I'm also an anatomy professor. Um, Anatomists are ubiquitously present in all medical schools around the world. And when I finished my public health studies and joined the faculty at Columbia as an anatomy professor, I realized that every single medical student in the entire world goes to the hand of an anatomist. And this is a very small group of educators. They are very involved with teaching. In most schools, every anatomist knows every single student because you teach them on the cadavers and one-to-one, and you know them by name. So this is an incredible position anatomists have, that you reach every single student. If you can involve an anatomy professor into and involve them with global health work, you have an incredible starting point, and it multiplies by these students going out to the fields and convincing people that science diplomacy and public health and health for all people is incredibly important. Um, the final portion also here is that we do outcomes research. Many programs do not particularly focus on certain skills, and the learning objectives I've listed here, we do study them before and after the program and make fine-tuning of the program elements itself, just to be sure that we do teach them these skills. Global teamwork, we did a study where we studied how big has to be the team. Was it 4 students versus 7 students? What are the dynamics between the teams? What is a good global teamwork? What do we measure? And so we did that as well. We do we measure their cultural competency skills. We do measure their empathy skills and professionalism. And I think that's really crucial when you run these type of programs, to realize with the goal in mind that you want global collaboration, that you bring students to the same level. And that's why it's so important to do outcomes research. And then finally, what is important for science diplomacy is the longitudinal aspect. You don't want to stick a student into a program and after 2 semesters it's done. You really want to make sure that they continue. And that's why we try to continue the program by offering postdoctoral exchanges. I even started faculty exchanges because some of my students are faculty now. But I also have a pledge here, because we are looking for an entity that can house this program, because it is beyond the capability of myself as a professor at one single university to bring these groups of 700 students that are accumulating every year to a place where they can really find as a platform to connect. Right? So this is something I feel very important. This is science diplomacy, yes, this is in practice, but I also want to see it come to scale. I think it's longer than 5 minutes, right? Sorry. Thank you.